Right, welcome
Alrighty.
to Evolve.
I'm Greg.
I'm Leah, and this is a surprise episode. Surprise how?
Because I have no idea, actually.
Actually, I don't know what we're going to talk about yet either, so I have a couple topics.
Okay.
And then let's pick between the two of us what we feel is, I don't know, we got the energy for. So, here's some that we've been wanting to talk about, and then I'm going to throw in one that's just kind of been on the radar here recently in our home. So, name change, since I changed my name recently, legally.
Right.
Family estrangement, and like what that could look like, reasons that could happen in people's lives, or what makes a good relationship? What feels like you could go there today?
Let's go with the name change.
Welcome to Evolve, the #1 podcast about relationships. Join Greg and Leah as they embark on the deep topic of relationships, and not just the romantic ones. Think wider, deeper, broader. Tune in each week as they chat about things like our relationship with food, money, parents, kids, pets, self-esteem, and so much more. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the Evolve episodes. Do you ever feel like you're playing a character, a PNC? No, what's it called? A PNC. An NPC.
Okay.
That you are pre-programmed and didn't get a choice or a say in that character.
Well, you just recently changed your name, but before you get into that, I want to talk about how my name has always affected me, and then we'll go into your name change. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So, my name is Gregory Scott Bell.
Sounds like an actor, I don't know, or a warrior.
And as a child, I hated the name Gregory. Couldn't stand the name Gregory Scott. And even Gregory Scott Bell. My name represented I was in trouble.
The use of your whole name.
The use of any kind of my name, Gregory.
Okay.
Because
okay.
It just was, my friends all called me Greg. And so
that's like our son, yeah.
I disconnected from Gregory. I couldn't. Very young. It wasn't until we were studying Torah and Hebrew and actually the book of Enoch.
Yeah, I think so.
Where I learned that Gregory was the angels that came. They were the watcher angels. They were the guiding angels. So being called Gregory was being called
a watcher.
Or
which doesn't mean something weird and perverted. No. It's not that like he's a peeping Tom.
That was the watchers in the guiders. Basically, that's another name for...
Yeah, watch overs, I would say is a good way to say it. Okay, so you didn't like your name, but then you accepted your name when you saw its meaning at that point, which is much older.
That was life. As an adult, yeah, way later. So I have yet to... And it also, too, Gregory, anytime mail came or someone called on the phone...
That's how you knew they didn't know you.
They didn't...
We're not friends.
We have no fucking idea who I am. Hi, Gregory, how you doing today?
And you're like,
You know...
That's back when you could hang up the phone and have that nice thrill of like... Ding, ding,
right.
ding.
Can't even slam...
Now it's like you hit a button.
Slam the phone down now, you break your own damn phone.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you do need to fix your phone. That camera, little lens almost cut me. But yes, okay.
So... And it wasn't until like... And I'll say, in my own perspective, seeing how you could wake up every day and change your character.
But I would say that's more of a recent thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the name part of it. I thought recently, because I'm gonna change my name.
I'll get into that shortly.
And so, I thought about that for myself too. Would it change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it when I was talking about it.
What would it do for me? And I was not. I'm very okay with Gregory now.
Yeah. Such a powerful name. You're so soft. Okay,
Great.
sorry.
Such a powerful name. You're so soft.
Just saying your hair is so baby soft. It's ridiculous.
Okay, that's enough.
All right. Anyways.
So my name has in my own, and I don't know, people out there, you might hate your name. I know pretty much more people than not don't like their name.
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never really done a census or whatever of people to see do you like your name? Do you not? Or like
they
your
don't.
name?
Maybe they don't like the nickname. I mean, let's
I don't
take.
know. That's a good question of how many people like their actual birth given name. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So that was my take on names, and though when you call somebody by their name over and over and over again, you're programming them in that meaning. And
it's not just that; it's what attaches to the name of the programming.
It's true.
It all connects.
How you receive it too, the receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, Gregory to me was especially, and from certain people, you know, I think between you, your sisters, it was always Gregory. Okay when you guys called me Gregory.
You liked when I called you Gregory?
I do like it when you but oh, shut the hell up. But like your sisters call me Greg.
I kind of vacillate between the two. It'll be Greg or Gregory or...
You don't really... Yeah, you usually...
Sometimes I'll say Greg, but like...
I don't know if you ever call me Greg.
I do.
But like, it was more out of the person's saying my name than with the... Like when your sisters say my name...
Like the relationship behind the name.
Right. It was like...
Yes.
And like one of your... Actually, there's two of your sisters that... If they took... Because they know that I didn't like that. So they took it as an empowerment. And then it was okay. Okay, I'll give you that. Because they were...
the relationship blossomed.
They're special. And so anyway, like... I don't even know if my mom calls me Gregory right now.
On and off, like she has. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure if she's like talking to someone about you, she'd probably just says Greg.
I guess.
But so that's your experience, like your evolution of your name is like you were born with it, you were given it, you learned to dislike it at a certain point because it equated trouble.
Right.
Excuse me, being in trouble. And then it took you, I mean, you have kind of a gap in there between childhood and when we like met and I started calling you Gregory and you started looking up your name and enjoyed it. What was the gap? Like he's been married other times before me. I'm not your first here. So what did they call you? What did you want them to call you? What did your name mean in those other years? Like older teen, living on your own, being married. Like you had a lot of time and space there.
That's been so seriously long ago. I don't even remember.
Like what you felt about how your name sounded and felt in other people's mouths?
I think the girl's mom always called me Greg. I don't think she ever used Gregory.
And like what about with work or bosses, coworkers?
Always.
Superiors or inferiors or...
Like I said, no one in my physical realm that I wouldn't allow. I mean, they just would call me Greg. It was like...
So however you introduce yourself is how they called you. Yeah. Okay. Any more about your name that you want to share before I get into the story?
No. I think we're ready to listen to your side of the story.
So I was born a poor... No,
it's true.
What? It was true.
The Jerk. The movie The Jerk. It was with... It was one of the first movies.
Not Tim Allen. No. What's his name? Steve Martin. And you made me watch that. Like one of the first things when we were dating or not dating or friends, but not friends. We watched that, and you were like, "This is the funniest movie." I didn't think it was funny.
I didn't say it like that. We watched it, and it was funny. I don't know.
I don't know.
A lot of the movies that I watched in the early years, you got to understand, I was very, very high. So
maybe if you watch them now, then you'll be good with it.
Yeah, and so that gap in between those years that I wasn't high, I look back and
you're like, "Oh yeah, that was supposed to be funny, but you have to be smoking to have it be funny." Anyways, that's way off base. But I was born to my bio mother and bio father as Ileana Parker. And no middle name. My mom is Catholic and Puerto Rican. I am biracial. Did you ever suspect that when you met me, that I was biracial?
I knew you were Puerto Rican, yeah.
How'd you know? Because I don't look like it. And my mom doesn't look like it. My sisters definitely don't look like it. Especially my older sister, red hair, blue eyes. But anyways, so my mom was Puerto Rican and Catholic, so she has lots of names. And I think that my father picked my name. He liked it. It was maybe an ex or a girl that he liked. I don't know. Same way you said you picked the names of your children. It's interesting how men pick names. And they chose no middle name because of my mom having such a long middle name. Growing up in Catholic school, having to write the whole thing out. And I can recall the first time I did not like my name. It wasn't as a little infant. Or obviously, yeah. I have memories of infancy.
I was like, geez.
I was in school, my first years of school.
When everybody hates their name. You have to write out your whole name on
No, mine wasn't about writing it or learning to spell it. It was how people said it. Because it's an ethnic-based name. So when I looked it up later in life, it is Spanish or it could be Russian. And both of those sound beautiful in those dialects. Let me just say that. But when you're in far away
Maine,
where everyone has an accent and a drawl, not a drawl, what is that called? Like wicked good.
It's an accent for sure.
My name started to feel butchered in the mouth of white people. I mean, I identified as white. If I look back at it now, I didn't think of myself as biracial because we were raised with my father in his community, in his small town, with his white parents. They didn't want my mother to speak and teach us Spanish. So there was a lot of racism, I think. And so
Sounds like it, yeah.
When my Spanish family would say my name, I loved it. But when I went to kindergarten and first grade and the teacher said my name out loud, I cringed because she was like, Eliana? Eliana.
That was another...
Eliana. It was like everything was coming from the back of their throat. It just made me feel so gross to hear that name out loud. And then they wouldn't, sometimes it was just butchered. I mean, butchered so bad.
That was another way that my name was connected to trouble.
What?
If your name got put on the board, it was like...
Oh, no, mine was... I'm just saying attendance. I'm just saying...
No,
like,
but my name was... I mean, that was...
No, I never had my name
always
on the board.
putting my name on... I was like I'm going to put your name on the board. Like, that was such a...
Threat all the time?
Yeah.
No. I never got paddled in school. I've never been spanked by a man. Oh, except you.
I was going to say, you should have.
But my mom's tore my hide for sure, and I'm better for it. But anyways, getting off track... yeah, that was when I first realized I don't like how my name is said. And then also, like, some of my family that is more Mainer, that has that slang, that accent, says it the same way.
When
and
I
I'm
first
just always
met
like,
you,
ugh.
all your sisters called you Yana.
Well, it's three. Let's see, Ileana. It's 4 syllables.
Have you ever told your real name or your given name to anybody? They don't even know that.
Unless you know me, you didn't know that was my name.
We
Correct.
Jumped into this, and you've never even said.
I always say I'm Leah. So
yeah.
No, I did say.
Oh, did you say? I didn't remember.
Yeah, I just said at the beginning. Were you drinking? What are you drinking?
Well, I have been smoking, and I'm drinking coffee. So
I said, yeah, my given name. I was born.
That's right, Ileana Parker.
Yes, my father's.
It's hard for me to even say Ileana anymore.
Because you've been saying Leah for a bit, which I'm going to get to that, of how did you accept all this and things like that. But
okay.
So yeah, I started first really hating it in that early elementary, hating how some of my family said it. It just felt yuck. I really loved, though, when we'd visit our family in Puerto Rico or the Spanish family would come visit us, love how they say it. Like, if I could have lived with them, grown up with that culture, I probably would have kept my name. Because also, if we grew up with that culture, we wouldn't have had the blended home we had, the abuse, the mess, the chaos that all came from that. So had I grown up with my Spanish family, I think I probably would still have that today.
Every one of my family members butchered your name.
Oh, God.
That's the first thing that I got. I made sure that I was...
I would have to say it 5 and 6 times. People just still couldn't get it.
And, yeah, and even after you corrected them, there was...
Leanna, Lana, Liliana,
Two things that I knew that I knew right away, which you couldn't stand, is that you couldn't stand people pronouncing your name wrong.
And what's the other thing?
Your socks showing on the motorcycle.
Socks showing? Oh.
On the motorcycle.
I don't remember
it was
that,
like,
I guess.
your pants running up high and you had to reach down. Yeah, that was
I'm glad you remember that, but...
Couldn't stand that.
But then moving through my life, I think not being able to be with my Spanish family, not having that culture, and then when I would visit sometimes my Spanish family, and I know they were joking, but they would always make me feel less than, that I wasn't Spanish, that I didn't speak Spanish. There was always a mockingness of... they would speak Spanish in front of us and be like, hey, what did I say? And I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I don't know Spanish. I'm at a point in my life and in my culture, I'm not interested now. Like, you're making me feel bad about who I am. So there's just a lot of
Did you ever
shame,
do the research about what your name meant?
I did when I was probably like 13, 14. I think someone said something about that. Maybe I was talking about my name. And it meant purple jewel or like royalty, which I thought was kind of cool because my birthday is amethyst. My birthstone is amethyst. So I thought, oh, how cool. I was born in February and that's what my name means is royalty or like purple jewel. And I was like, okay, I'll be okay with it. I tried to keep finding reasons to accept my name and accept the identity that came with this name. And also just, I think there's so much more than just that. Like you said, hearing your name equaled trouble. Hearing my name equaled... Let me think how to say this. Like, you're not important enough for me to get it right. And that's what I kept hearing every time. Like you said, meeting your family who's very, what would you say is your family's lineage?
Well,
mostly white, but like from like...
Definitely Anglo-Saxon, but my mom's side of the family was German and Irish. And my dad says that he's from here.
Kentucky, though, he was from, right? Yeah. Okay. So they just weren't interested in trying to embrace ethnicity, even though there's, I mean, how many like ethnic wives or spouses married into your side of the family? How many can you think of? I can think of one. Your cousin who married a Cuban or something.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, there's no diversity. No one married anyone of any other race or creed or color.
And both of my first wives were definitely Catholic.
White American Catholics.
Irish, yeah.
I mean, so it just, I don't know, my name just kept feeling like every time that I heard someone say it, like a punch to me. And so when we started traveling, I'll fast forward a little bit.
Well,
or I'll wait.
When we first got married, it was, and then even until now, I never referred to you as I talked about you or referred to you, but when I would call you or talk to you or whatever, it was always
we had like pet names or something like that.
Because you didn't like to hear your name. So
did I say that to you when I met you? Like that I don't want you to say.
Like I said, I figured you didn't say that. No, but you didn't also. You have a lot of particulars that you don't like, especially in the language department.
That could be another episode. Let's stay friends right now. So, anyways, I would say moving through, that's just how I felt about my name my whole life. So, never had a middle name. The middle name became an issue after 2011. God. We went, and if you had to go to a DMV after 2001, I'm sorry, the Twin Towers and all that stuff that happened. After that, you could not go into a Florida DMV and be out of there any less than 6 hours. It was so chaotic. And as a woman, you had to bring so much paperwork to identify who you were from birth, marriage, divorces, anything, everything. You had to have copies and papers of it, which, on a side note, my mom, who was born in Puerto Rico, went through struggles because her original certificate was in Spanish and the DMV wouldn't take it. It was so chaotic. It was so hell-ridden. So by this point, we're married. So I'm Ileana Bell, no middle name still. DMV hit, I think 2006 is when I had to go renew. So it's after 2001. Sat there for 6 hours. They wanted all this paperwork. I get up there and she says, you need a middle name and it can't be blank. I was like, I don't have a middle. You're looking at my birth certificate. I don't have a middle name. She's like, well, there's no such thing. We have to fill this in. So she's like, we're going to put your maiden name as your middle name. I was like, I don't want that. I don't want you to do that. I am not that person anymore. I am now identified with my husband and his family, and that's what I want to do. And didn't matter. I just wanted to get out of there. After 6-8 hours, I was like, screw it, fine, whatever. And my picture was not very happy.
We have a story on that one, so it's good. Yeah.
Oh, it's just so bad. Yeah, they were so cruel.
The DMV
and so
is horrible.
So I ended up with a middle name in maybe like 2006 or something. Had no legal way to back it up, but my ID now said that, and then somehow my Social Security card came as that as well, I think. It was just such a mess. So I was just, name stuff has always been a prickly for me.
Oh!
I was about to say prick, but I was like, wrong word. It's just been prickly for me because it's just like people want to give me something I'm not asking for. And I like this, because when I started thinking about changing my name, I started looking up people like, why would you change names? I never even considered changing my name. Like, not really. I joked about it, but like seriously until like 2 years ago. But I will back up to elementary school. When I had said I didn't like my name, there was a little girl there, I've shared this story with you before, who, her name was Amy. And I think she had something, maybe she was just slow or whatever. She was very tiny. So she had a special tiny desk, a special tiny chair, but she was the light of the room. And I just loved her. And I loved that everyone loved her. Everyone saw her. She wasn't invisible like I felt, with a big name like mine, but I still felt invisible. And I adopted this like love of the name Amy. 3 letters. That's it. Mine was 6, 12 when you add in my last name. And I was like, 3 letters. It's so freaking simple. So Amy, like we joked for a long time. I had long hair most of my life. When I finally asked you like, hey, I want to go short. You're like, okay, sure. You cut my hair, and we made the first joke of like walking in and our friends being like, hey, whoa, you cut all your hair off. And we're like, yeah, this is now Amy. I'm going to be Amy. But we didn't, it wasn't anything real. It was just a joke. And when I started taking it more serious.
And it wasn't really a short haircut. I mean, it was here.
It was,
to your shoulders.
It was just a page boy kind of cut. Yeah. So it wasn't super short like now. Which again, this girl, Amy, had super short hair.
Yeah.
But I was shamed in a weird way by my patriarchal, actually maybe both sides of the family, in the grandparents and aunts and uncles. My sister and I had always had very long hair. And we were not really complimented on our hair that I can recall, but we were always told, don't you ever cut this. Don't you ever cut this. That's not that. I mean, like insinuating how disgusting and ugly we would be if we cut our hair. Really? And that's why I was afraid you would say no when I wanted to cut my hair like 8 years ago.
It was one of the things that certainly attracted me to you.
I had long,
beautiful,
thick,
long,
crazy-ass
black hair. Yeah, it was just...
Black? You had black hair. I had dark brown, but people say black. But anyways, it just was this constant narrative of, like, you're never going to be good enough if you change that, if you don't be this and this that we tell you to be. So as I'm saying, like, all this, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, all this is script writing. Someone's writing my character for me, and I just never settled well into it. I wanted to be short-haired. I wanted a short name. I wanted so much more and to be something different. And
it's funny how
I couldn't be.
Changing your name can become such a... people that don't want to accept it. But, you know what I'm saying? There's probably a realm of probably family members more than anything else. But, like, in the background that you and I both were brought up with, changing your name is a religious standpoint.
Like a religious right. It's like a spirit. If you do that, typically there's a spiritual breakthrough and transition for you. And I will say, like, by the time I decided to legally change my name, I felt like I had had a lot of those already.
Right.
So when we started traveling,
it was an opportunity to cut. Yeah.
I get to be someone new because we're going to be in places no one's there, no family's with us to correct us or say that's not right, no friends. So as we started traveling, I kind of was like, what do I want to go with? So I started thinking Lana, because you reminded me that like my little siblings would call me Yaya, because it's a 4-syllable name to say my whole name. It was very hard for their tongues. So I thought, Lana, that's pretty close to Ileana. Sounds phonetically close. Let me try that out. And I tried it, felt it, and just wasn't sitting. And I don't really know how I actually... like, what actually made me pick Leah? I think it was looking at my name and seeing the L-E-A and just wanting to pull those out. And I love the idea that it was 3. Like I said, Amy, I wanted that name. I wanted something with 3 letters. I just didn't realize how ingrained it was for me to have 3 letters. And then, of course, later in my life, I found out, like, 3 is a really powerful number for me. It means a lot to me. So I went with Leah shortly after trying Lana for a little bit, and I would say a year and a half we went with Leah, and like that's how I would introduce myself to people. It was how you would say, like, my name. When we first got into here, I remember it was kind of still wishy-washy. I was kind of using both, like Leah, Ileana, Leah, so like our boss didn't know who to, like, he had a hard time saying my name. He was so awkward saying it. Like,
I remember one of the nurses saying, "Oh, I thought it was the other way around." That she wanted to
changing it from
Leah to Ileana.
I didn't know. Yeah, I think I've always been concerned about what is your thoughts going to be on this. Are you going to be okay with this? Because you made a mention just a second ago of family and friends who have known you a long time, when you change your name, are going to struggle. And I get that. I get that, like we have a son, and we named him very intentionally. And if you would have asked me 12, 15, 20 years ago when he was born, what if he wants to change his name when he gets older? Would you be offended? I'd probably have said yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We chose his name and we had it. We felt it was very important and divine and spiritual and connection. But now, as I have seen and listened to other people's stories, because I started doing some research on like name changing and why people would do it, and do I have a good enough reason that I just don't like it, and the story attached to it, the character attached to it. People have huge resets, like you kind of just said, when they change their name. So as I went through and had this process for myself, and I started thinking, okay, if my kid did this, what would my response and feeling been? I'm like, honestly, yes, we did take time to pick his name. But if he felt like there was something else, I support that, because I care about my kid. And I don't care if he says he's going to be a Jack or a Jill, or like, I love my kid. And that's where when I came to you about like permanently changing, I'm like, what do you think? What was your reaction? Do you remember?
I think that had you came to me, well, this whole name change has been, for me, really crescendoed and weaned into.
Right, true. It's been a slow process. Same as the hair. I mean, I didn't go from like my hair down to like 15
when you came to me when we had that video. There's a video you should watch, or a short one where you said you're going to shave your head.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I thought, well, you still didn't do what I thought. I thought it was going to be a lot more
straight down shaved.
But,
yeah.
But so, yeah, I was pretty much weaned into that. And I was thinking about, and this analogy works great. We live right behind the Garden of the Gods, and I drive to the gym most every morning or every afternoon through the Garden of the Gods to the gym.
Yeah.
Every day it's different. Every season it's even more different.
Yeah, for sure.
But every day it's beautiful. And I look at it and...
Am I the Garden of the Gods?
You are my Garden of the Gods. Every day. You say, how could you say this about me? And how would you... I am... That's the... If you can relate to that, that is... Because you can definitely relate to staying here. That's... It doesn't matter whether there's a snowy day or a rainy day or a muggy day or... It's beautiful every day. There's not been a time I've drawn through the garden or walked through the Garden of Gods and said, "This is disgusting as fucking hell."
Wow.
I want to leave this place. Oh, there was one time I did want to leave this place, but I was tripping on mushrooms. So
yeah, it was a different reason. It wasn't the place that was the problem. It was you that was struggling as the problem.
I was enjoying my time there, and all of a sudden
I want to go back to that for a second because it's important to say like
changing your name to something.
It doesn't change who that person. When you're really truly seen, and I feel like from the day that we met, you've always really seen me, whereas I cannot say that about anyone else.
Well, you have the invisibility cloak.
Yes, that'll be another episode, the human design and that I'm a projector. Look into that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know what I'm talking about. I just learned about it. So, but it made a lot of sense. So in a lot of the videos that I watch different people to, find their story, see what they thought, what was their experience. It is so much that. It's you at your soul and at your core, you don't change. But the story that's written around you with that name, with that identity, it's like that layer comes off of you. Well, but the same soul, the same person, just like when we deconstructed our spiritual and religious beliefs, if you were to still talk to us and sit with us and you knew us from 20, 30 years ago, we're still the same people. We still do the same things. We might change our language, which you're a lot more, vulgar in your language.
So are you.
So am I.
Yes.
I don't think to your extreme, but
no.
But I mean, we're still the same people at our core. These things are just, how would I say, what's the best way to say it? It's like the makeup we wear, but it's not the face and the skin of who we are. So like our belief systems, our names, our identities that people have given us, these character roles and scripts that we've filled, and like they're not us. Just like our thoughts, we've had other conversations and podcasts about this. Our thoughts are not us. And I don't know, for me, it was just that realization that I'm still the same person, but yeah, I am also an evolved being in the same sense. And I know that might sound kind of like lofty or whatever, but I was able to and am still like letting go of some of the narratives that name held for me, that the old name held for me.
Well, you said it this way. The name was just what you received it.
It's what I absorbed with it. Yeah.
Someone from Puerto Rico saying your name, you thought was nice. Just like me hearing my name from your sisters, that was acceptable.
Right.
But I've not, and now that I've, in terms of the name change part, I have changed my name. I have changed, and my name is still the same, but I have changed. It's the receiver of the name. When I hear my name now, I think royalty and
I don't think you have to change your name to evolve in the ways that are helpful for you.
I think you tried to do that, to get to a place where you can accept Ileana.
Yeah.
But if you can't, change your fucking name. Because
it's just a name.
It's just a name.
And I think that's where, like, if any family ever, does communicate with me,
it's not just a name. It's what you receive.
Just a name and how I. It's true. I'm saying two things at the same time. It's just a name or it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is powerful.
It is powerful of how you feel about it. And I don't know, just coming in the last, year or so with this name, year and a half now, I feel so different. And something that's really helped me, I just had a session I was sharing with you with a peer coach of mine the other day. and just telling her I'm struggling with some inner narratives and old things that are coming back up in my life. And she's like, okay, well, put, the devil and the angel kind of thing on your shoulder. And this is the one, the devil kind of side is, what is it that's talking to you, and what is it saying, and what do you not want to be hearing? And she said, before we do that, give it a name. And I was like, I don't even have to think twice. It's Ileana, that old self that's just this narrative of you're stupid, you're not enough, you're invisible, nobody likes you, everyone butchers everything you do. Like, you'll never be anything good.
So
you are poor. You are.
Do you now refer to her as Ileana, or do you refer to her as Leah?
Ooh, good question. I don't know. I just think of
Maybe
her as my younger self, my little self, and my higher self, and then there's me.
You have frequent conversations with your younger
I don't think
self.
I've said a name to her. She's just little me, and it's a good question. But in that coaching session, it really helped me and I started to just cry and sob, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't want to be crying in this session right now. But she's like, it's okay, just keep going with it. And it's just that narrative of what she absorbed and believed about her, and that name and that character role and narratives and insecurities was just like chomping at my ear, chomping at my current self, that I'm like, man, I've done too much work. And that's what my peer coach said to me. What would you like to say to her right now? And that's when I started crying, and I was like, that I've done too much work for you to bring me back down, that I'm not you anymore. And I am not going to go backwards. And it was a huge breakthrough for me to be able to do that and say that to, like, past me. Now, there will always be Ileana in my life. There will always be, and we talked about this the other day, if you've ever seen John Nash, the story of the mathematician, how he was schizophrenic and saw and really had these people and beings in his life that would tell him what to do, where to go. But at the end of the story, he ends up not ever getting rid of them, but learning to tune them out. Yeah. And so there will always be my history. There will always be my scars. There will always be those reminders. I will never, and I don't think I need to, erase her. I just need to now, as the stable person I am today, or working on being all the time, be able to console her. Yeah. I need to now finish the healing process that started already. As I've met you and met other people in my life who have really helped me heal, I need to finish the process of healing and healing her. And all that requires is just talking to her how she needed. Like, if she didn't get the affirmation she needed, if she didn't get the affection she needed, if she didn't get the attention, whatever it was she needed, I can give that to her now. And just by doing exactly what happened in that session of just like, what do you want to say to her? If she's like screaming at you of like all these insecurities and obscenities that she thinks that you still are, what do you want to say to her? So that was my name change experience. My family, we don't talk, which that's why I said, do you want to talk about family estrangement here? Not yet. We'll get to that another time. But like, I don't know their feelings. Like, but that's not out of the norm. We have done some drastic changes in our lives. My family never talks about it. It's like the elephant in the room. They won't say like, hey, I've noticed you changed your hair, or it's like, they don't comment on anything. It is just, that's the way we were told and taught and observed and learned and caught, was don't talk about hard stuff. Don't talk about deep stuff. Just.
Well, I also, piggybacking on that could be another episode, is we're talking about, what is it? The star effect, or no, the limelight?
Spotlight effect kind of thing, yeah. Spotlight theory, I think it's called.
And I think we think our spotlight in our family is even, I mean, I can honestly say that I think that everyone in my family is always thinking about me.
Sure. We all think that.
Especially when I'm thinking about them, I think they're even more thinking about me. And
like right in that moment?
Maybe.
Like, oh, I'm thinking about them right now. They're thinking about me.
But I put myself in the limelight a lot more.
A lot of people do.
In this whole reality here. And I'm realizing that like we could do some tests sometime, and one of the things we've done in our past is completely changed the way we looked or dressed or added something on, and no one says nothing. And I mean big extreme changes.
And I thought,
I'm just pounding. And I thought at the time, because of that limelight, that they're just ignoring me. That they see it, but they're just ignoring it.
My family is.
And
if you're gonna say that they're not, they just choose to not say anything, because I have been on the other side when a family member makes a big change. We talk about them. So gossip behind people's back is also pretty normal in my family and your family. God almighty, it's so bad everywhere in our families.
It's in the name.
So it's the inability to be honest, straightforward, and transparent to one another, but instead go around and talk about it behind backs. Yeah. So I have zero faith, and if my family's listening to this, then you can tell me it's different. Prove to me it's different. But they do see the changes, and they do watch, and they do listen, but they just will never have the courage to have a conversation. And I do want to say this, my older self.
But are you looking for a conversation, or do you?
And that's the thing. Like, my other self, Ileana, has spent tons of energy trying to have conversations with so many people, bio father, mother, siblings, about things that are hard. I've never really done it the right way. So I have taken a break, and we'll get into this later in another episode about family estrangement, because I have done it wrong so much. I have forced my way in. And then going back to like the human design and being a projector, we're supposed to wait for the invitation, not push and push to get our way and have these conversations and be invited and included. But yet that's been my insecurity, is always trying to like push my way in, because if I don't do that, you won't see me. If I don't do that, you might think something's wrong with me. I don't know that I have the ability yet to do it right. Leah, myself, knows it's somewhere in there in the future, but today, like, I don't want to fall back into Ileana's way of trying to have reconciliation and to force conversation. That insecure girl is still yelling in my ear very often. No one notices you. Do you know that they have seen it? I saw them look at your stuff, but they're not commenting. They really don't care about you. Blah, 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 blah. And Leah has to be like, no, it's okay. If it's not meant for me, it won't be. And that includes family right now. And like with that, we will go into another episode of family estrangement and what do you do about it? What does one do when family gets cut off? And if blood and family is everything, who are you without family? But that'll be next time, another time. Any more thoughts on name changing, the experience that we've gone through? I will say real quick, like getting the legal documentation done was so exciting. The license I have now, where we're at, the DMV was nothing like the other experience. I was in and out in 30 minutes. I have the best, I think, smile on my face. And it's just me. Like, I got to come through even on a driver's license. So I love who I am today. If you know me from years...
Round of applause.
You know, years and decades ago, I hope you will still know that it's still me, but improved 2.0. So a quick insert here, something I realized I didn't share when I was sharing the story of the name change and such, is the fact that I gave myself a middle name. Not having one, you heard that story, and then being forced into one at the DMV, which really was not my maiden name, but I'm sorry, not my middle name, it was my maiden name that they threw in there. So to never have that happen again, I gave myself a middle name. So what I chose was just kind of random. I didn't put as much thought into that as I did the first name. And really it just came about when I was watching a TV show and I heard it as the middle name for this newborn daughter. And I was like, I think that's it. And then after kind of adopting it, realizing, I'll show you a picture here, that I actually did a logo when I started evolving and healing a lot of my past traumas. I made this logo and I had my son help me. I drew this girl inside of a flower bud, and then there's like darkness and mold and other things outside of it. So you see all the layers and such going on, but like it's a rose. So I didn't realize or make that connection until afterwards. So my name, full name, is Leah Rose Bell, and that's the story of that. Just wanted to make sure I threw it in there because totally forgot to mention it. That's kind of a big part of the whole ordeal, but that's it. Hi, I'm Leah Rose Bell. So, do you have any other thoughts on name changes and like the impact of our character? And
it's like playing a video game where you can just change your
change your skins, change your character,
yeah.
And with that comes different abilities, different powers. I remember I was thinking of Mortal Kombat. I don't know why I was thinking of that one, just because I don't know. Finish him. Was that the one that did? Finish him.
Yeah.
We used to play and stuff, but with each character, you get some pros and cons. There is new things you got to learn about this character. What do they do? Which combination sets off like this powerhouse for them, and then which combinations actually can hurt you and cause you to be taken down.
So what's the cheat code? How do you find the cheat codes in life now? YouTube University?
For myself?
For anything. Like we could go look up the cheat codes for these games.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we're in a video game now.
I never looked at cheat codes for video games, honestly. I know there was books about them before the internet existed, and you bought the workbook or the magazine and you got the cheat codes, but I didn't have that much dedication to the game. I'd just be like, I just hit buttons and usually win or not win. I just died. So, but that's all. I have been super excited about this for the last year and a half or more, almost 2 years now. And it's official. All my documents say that, but they did not change the birth certificate. So like I said, she'll always be there. She'll always be part of me. And it just requires me finding that balance between my past self and my present self. So you don't have a
I guess a birth certificate is
just the original. Everything is the same. Like that. You could pay to change your birth certificate. Because so like, let's say you were getting a sex change or transitioning your gender, you have to change things. And they will go back if you ask them to change your birth certificate. But in a typical name change, they said, no, don't even bother. Like, because then we'd have to go through the marriage license. We'd have to go through a lot more. So the lawyer just helped me just pick the basics. And so I'm good with that.
What about our marriage license? Is that...
Essentially, it's just a trail of paper. Oh. So it shows how my name has changed. So when I went to the DMV up here, I had to bring that. Because the guy's like, wait, where does Belle come in? I'm looking at your birth certificate. I'm looking at your name change and the court papers. Where's Belle? And I'm like, oh, right here, my marriage. And he's like, oh, okay. So it's just having a paper trail. So I like that I haven't burned the bridge of my old self. And me and her can still find peace. I'd love to hear, people's thoughts on name changes, especially parents who might be really attached to, like, the idea of their kids changing it and feeling really like triggered by that. I'd like to open your mind to realizing your kid is still the same, or your best friend or your partner or whoever it is who's looking to change their name. It's just a name to you possibly, or maybe it's more than just a name, but to that person, it is a character skin that they don't want to identify as anymore. So let them evolve forward. If it's healthy for them and even if it's not, I don't get a say over if it's not healthy for you. It's you're making those choices, but I am the same person in so many ways and improved in so many ways. So still a lot that I have to, tell her to be like, okay, settle down. But I'm super happy about it, and I know I have some family who just are getting used to it. Do you feel like you're getting used to it, or you're used to it?
I'm used to it by now. Okay. I mean, it's. The other day, I even spoke to you and said your name. I think, like it rolls off my tongue.
We don't say names like when it's just you and I together so much.
Pretty much, it rolls off my.
Rolls off your tongue.
Pretty easy. Like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what you think.
Regardless of what side of the debate or the thought process you fall on, I'd love to hear your thoughts and etc. So. And also, if you need someone to help you go through that process, healing from the past, moving forward, hit me up or hit up someone like me who does life coaching and work through and walk through this process, because there is a lot of painful parts of it that you do have to address of your old self and the new self, and what do you want them to look like and feel like, and what are the new narratives and stories. We actually have Post-its up around our house of just positive affirmations and narratives. One of them is, I think it's on the microwave, like, I am a new person with new stories. Yep. And that's a powerful thing if we can adopt that, but sometimes it's hard to get there by yourself. So reach out, click connect, see what's possible with my support or someone like me. And until next time, everyone, be evolving.